to be my review for the movie The Grey from 2011. And what made me want to watch this is, this is not old, but it came out 6 years ago now. I was always, I always knew about it. Just kind of one of those movies I was kind of interested in. Just never actually sat down and watched. And I just wrote this down as a movie to see over the winter. It's a, winter movie. People stuck in Alaska. But, and then it's been like super nice, so I kind of watched it at a weird time. But anyways, so it's directed by Joe Carnahan, who's done some interesting movies. He did Narc, was one of the first movies that he did, but then the one I really knew him from was Smokin' Aces. That was from 2006. And I was like just getting out of high school then, and it was really interesting, very like hitman trying to attack this mob boss or somebody in witness protection, and it's just very, very stylized and it's a very unique movie, and it works. It's like this crazy action movie. Kind of funny, I just reviewed John Wick Chapter 2, and Smokin' Aces kind of reminds me of John Wick, the first one. It's just this kind of surprise hit with a unique kind of genre to it, kind of a cult movie. So for Carnahan, after he did that, he did a movie about the A-Team, the TV show, 2010, and he actually worked with Liam Neeson on that, and then this came out the year after. So this is like a super simple plot. Liam Neeson plays a guy named Otway, and he's up in Alaska, and what he does is works with oil companies protecting the workers. So he'll watch for wolves and shoot and kill them if he has to, so that they're not attacking the oil workers as they're out in the tundra of Alaska. And so basically they're Otway, Liam Neeson's character, and a bunch of other workers are on a flight, and they don't really say where they're going or anything, but they're flying, problems with the plane, crash, and so plane crashes, most of the people die, and they're survivors. There's about 6 of them. They're just out here on their own in the Alaska wilderness, and they have to try to survive somehow. They have to get some medical attention to some people, and then Otway just takes the lead and says, we need to find food, start a fire, we need to do these things to survive. And they start to realize that apparently they're really, really close to like a wolf's den, a pack of wolves. And so the wolves start like attacking like the dead bodies, and then they start to slowly attack the actual survivors. And so that's the whole plot of the movie. This group of people need to get away from these wolves, and they need to try to find help somehow. And that's it. It's a pretty simple plot. So, like I said, I wanted to watch this because it's like a interesting winter movie. People stuck in the middle of the frozen Alaska. So, of course, Liam Neeson is the main character for sure. He has such, I don't want to get into his whole career, but man, has such a weird projection that he's taken with his career and roles. After doing Taken, he's become this like unlikely older action star, and that's basically what he's been doing. So this is a little different. It's not like an alcoholic cop or some old hitman that is looking for his daughter or trying to find, a family member or something. He does a lot of those movies. So it's a little different. Still kind of actiony, and he has like this unique set of skills, but that's a little different from what he's been doing. There's quite a few other actors that I recognize by name, but totally didn't recognize anybody when I was watching the movie. I was kind of surprised because I got done watching it, and I noticed one actor, this character actor, Dallas Roberts. Didn't know his name. Nobody probably else does. If I say Dallas Roberts, you probably have no idea who I'm talking about. But I recognized him from, he played Sam Phillips in Walk the Line, and he was in 3:10 to Yuma, and he's like just a random character. I recognize his face, but then everybody else, they just looked really different. So like Frank Grillo has been in some of the Marvel movies, the Captain America timeline, and Dermot Mulroney is pretty big name actor, decently well known, and another guy from Marvel, James Badge Dale, was in the Winter Soldier, I think. Um, so those guys I did not recognize at all. It's because he put these guys in a bunch of winter clothing and long hair and beards, and they all just kind of blend in. And Liam Neeson and that Dallas Roberts guy that I mentioned, they don't have beards, so they're like the two that I recognize. It's just really weird. But anyways, the movie's okay. It's very, very simple and doesn't do anything that you don't really expect. So I was kind of disappointed. I just kept kind of getting hints of other movies here and there. The first one, I couldn't think of like a ton of other survival movies like this set in the wilderness for some reason, at least in Alaska. I kept thinking of White Fang, which is a movie with Ethan Hawke when he's really young. And me and my brothers all watched that when we were younger all the time. I just kept thinking of like that, White Fang, and then like The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio trying to survive. But that was like, a period piece, and he gets like attacked by a bear and is like kind of betrayed. So there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on, but similar survival aspects. And then I kind of thought about like it's almost the opposite of Sahara, which is much more of like a comedy. That was a remake that had Matthew McConaughey and I think maybe Giovanni Ribisi, a couple other people, and or am I thinking Flight of the Phoenix? Anyways, those movies are set in the desert though, so people that are set in the desert when they're stranded, opposite of Alaska, but you end up having some of the same problems. So those, and then one I actually saw was The Way Back. It's kind of a big ensemble movie with like Ed Harris and I think Colin Farrell, and then is it Saoirse Ronan? And they're like leaving like a Russian gulag, and they're trying to get out from this very extreme Siberian wilderness to some sort of safety. Anyways, that's just a lot of movies that I thought of. For this, like I said, it's nothing crazy. Nothing super exciting. There's some interesting parts, when they're getting attacked by the wolves. The wolves looked pretty fake. I think maybe they used some real either wolves or big dogs or something at some points here and there, or maybe some puppets. But overall, yeah, they just look super computery and generic and whatever. It's not really much of a recommend. I'd probably check out those other movies like The Revenant and White Fang. It's an old movie, but The Way Back's pretty interesting. It has more going on for it, I think. It's a little bit longer. So I'm only giving this a 2.25 out of 5. It's just like barely not recommend. It's just not too much really going on. So unless you're a diehard Liam Neeson fan, you have to see every movie he's done, which you're going to have a lot of work cut out for you because he's in so many movies now. So this is one you probably skip. So, all right.